Coming up on Let's Talk Life with London.
Hi everyone, welcome back to season 3 of Let's Talk Life. I have a really special guest today. She's performed on every major stage to date, the Grammys, World Music Awards, the Super Bowl, just to name a few. And since the age of 17, she's played an intricate role in the creative process of everything Beyonce. From her music videos and commercials to her live performances and world tours, Ashley Everett serves as Beyonce's lead dancer and dance captain. She's worked with all the greats: Usher, Nicki Minaj, Ciara, Neo, Jennifer Lopez, and Tina Turner. You've seen her on Glee, Hit the Floor, X Factor, and the Disney Channel. You name it, she's done it. She started her career at the Juilliard School of Dance, and today she's here with us to talk more about her journey. And I'm so excited to welcome our special guest, Ashley Everett, to the show.
Thank you, girl. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. Congrats on season 3 too, girl. That's big.
Thank you. Yes, it's been it's flown by, honestly, but it's been so fun and everyone has been great that I've talked to. Excited to have you. How has your year been so far? We're only a couple weeks into 2023, but
I know every day counts though, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been a little bit of like a slower start for me, like intentionally. I've kind of wanted to hibernate. Obviously, LA's weather has been insane. Like
Right.
In 2023, we got rain, like the rain we've needed for centuries.
Right.
So that's really weird and wild. But I've been like hibernating and like doing the work that I need to prepare for grind time.
Yeah. What does that hibernation time look like for you?
Well, really, I started my first week in 2023 with like trying to set a schedule and get myself up early in the morning and just get back working out, like moving my body again, and getting the energy back, So I've been waking up early. I've been going to the gym early just to start my day that way. Yeah. And then, I've mentioned to you a little bit, but we haven't mentioned on camera yet, but I am working on a couple TV shows. So I've been like going to COVID tests and have fittings and rehearsals for that. And I'm shooting that on Friday. And then I start another one at the end of the month. So we'll get into all that though.
Yes. We'll get there. But I'm excited to hear that because I know it's been a rough couple of years for the entertainment industry. So I'm excited to hear when anybody's like, I'm working on this is upcoming, because it's really nice to hear that people are back in the swing of things. But honestly, I feel like we needed that break. It was needed.
Everyone needed it. We needed that reset. We needed that time with ourselves. It was so necessary. And for me, like, it was very, effective.
Effective for sure. You have the longest dancing career with Beyonce to date. Like, girl. So I imagine that a lot comes with that. But there are probably so many other factors that play into your longevity, not only in professional dance, but having so much longevity with Beyonce. Yeah. What do you feel like you've brought to that environment that plays a role in that?
I've always not questioned it, but people have always mentioned it. Like, wow, you're the longest dancer that any artist really has ever had. Yeah. I mean, I think Tina Turner has had some dancers for like 20 years and stuff, which is incredible and amazing. And I love that. But yeah, it's very, very rare, especially for dancers, maybe a musician or a singer or something, but yeah, very rare for dancers. I started very young. So when I came in, I was 17, I was green, and I didn't want to act like I knew anything. And I was very much just staying in my lane and playing my role, and I think that's a big thing in this industry. Like, a lot of lanes get blurred and people segue without a blinker and like a signal, and it just gets like this, and it can get very messy or, get in your way, honestly, for whatever you're trying to do. So I think staying in your lane, whatever your lane is very, very good, you know? And if you want to go into other lanes, do it the appropriate way, address it the right way, you know, like just go about it the right way. And I think that's been a huge reason why I've been in the camp for a long time. Obviously, too, girl, I don't say nothing. I mean, I don't be saying nothing. I could sell stories to TMZ or something, but we're not doing that. Like, no, we're not doing all that, you know? And yeah, I mean, even like before the social media era, like, and when the social media era came, we were still doing projects under wraps because that's just obviously the way she works. And so NDAs also are involved, you know, but yeah. So staying in my lane, keeping quiet, being loyal, working hard. You have to be a hard worker to work in her camp because she works hard. No one who isn't working hard is going to last, you know? Yeah. And giving it like 100% my all every time, and always trying to push her too, you know, like she don't want people who make her settle. She wants people to push her. So
that's important.
All those things, I guess, girl, and talent, of course.
Right. All the things. I think it's a great point that you made. It's, to me, what I heard was there's a balance between being confident and knowing that you're good, right? But then also knowing that you're always a student and always being willing to be a student. Because I think a lot of times there are creatives in all industries that know that they're good, or they know that they're talented, and then when they come in the room, it's like, well, you can't tell me nothing, or I don't want to be told anything, or no constructive criticism, you know? And I think, I'm sure for you've seen personalities like that, or you've seen that come, but then I don't know if that lasts long.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if you do have that attitude, you really got to have the right credits to back it up, you know? You really do. You got to have the work and the time and the dedication to back it up. And if not, like, everyone sees through that real quick, you know?
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah. So take me back to 17-year-old Ashley. That's when your career really took off and changed for you. What was on your vision board then? Was like this? Was there a picture of the Super Bowl and Beyonce?
Girl, you know what's really funny actually is, like, when I was 15 or 16, I think I was 15. I went to a school dance. We called it twerps, but it's like where the girl asked the guy, Sadie Hawkins.
Okay.
And so I asked like my homeboy from Spanish class, like, I don't even remember his name anymore, but we were friends or whatever. And he was a white boy. I'm from Northern California, a small town where there's a lot of white people. Yeah. And we went as Beyonce and Austin Powers from the film, what's it called? Goldmember.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's so weird because, like, I always remember that. And I'm like, that is so weird how I, like, kind of manifested that. I didn't grow up like a huge Beyonce fan. You know, when I started working with her, it was in the beginning of her solo career anyway. So I guess I love Destiny's Child, but I wasn't like a super fan or anything, you know? But yeah, I ended up going to school dance as her. Ended up like just randomly auditioning for her. I also, like, before I started working with her, I want to say I auditioned for like a commercial or something living in New York. And they told us like dance and sing to some song. And I chose a Beyonce song randomly. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird. So there were like little manifestations, but I didn't have like a vision board, like, you know, but girl, I grew up dancing. So, you know, I've been dancing since I was 2. So obviously admiring the Michaels and the Janets and, you know, Tina and Beyonce and all of the dancing artists. So I used to love me some Janet and Michael. And I used to really be like, I would see her dancers and her videos and I'd be like, I want to be that, like, whatever that is, whatever it takes to be there. I didn't know that there were agents. I didn't know there were auditions. I didn't know it was like professional jobs. I just thought you had to be friends with her and had to know how to dance or something.
Right,
I was like, I don't know no celebrities who I'm friends with. It's not going to happen for me.
Right.
But then we learned there's an industry, girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely did see like myself on TV dancing
Mm-hmm.
for these musicians and singers who were singing the popular songs that I could be dancing to.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached that goal much sooner than I expected. That's why you have to have multiple goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you reach them quick, girl. And you'd be like, oh, gotta set some more. You know?
So you were in school, and then did you go audition for something and she was there, or her people were there? Like, what, how was that?
Okay, so yeah, I was training at Alvin Ailey at the time,
Okay.
which is a modern dance school and company.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a senior in high school. Beyonce used to use the studio to rehearse at a lot. So she used to live in New York back in the day too. And they would come in and be rehearsing for like award shows or music videos. We always heard about like celebrities coming in because the studios were beautiful and they were private and stuff. So we would always hear stories. And one day I like lived there. I was always in dance class, girl. So I'm walking the halls, just a normal Tuesday or whatever it is for me.
Right.
And there's like a security guard and like all these people around that were like, who's in here? Someone special's in here. And word got around that it was Beyonce rehearsing for one of her performances coming up. And her choreographer, Frank Gatson, stopped me in the hallway just based on like what I looked like solely based on what I looked like. And he was like, you're very beautiful. You're a very beautiful young woman. I see you do ballet because I was in like a leotard and tights. And he's like, I see you're technical. Do you do other styles? And I'm like, yes, I do it all. I'm trained in hip hop and jazz, tap, ballroom, whatever you want. I do it. And he like invited me in the room, girl, where she was rehearsing with all her other dancers. And she was barefoot, like no makeup on, sweating, just like working hard, like a dancer, like full on dance rehearsal. And he took my information, wrote it in his little notepad, and was like, I'm gonna give you a call, like, thank you, nice meeting you. I got to hug her, all that. It was like so surreal for like a 17-year-old girl. I was like, God, this is why I moved to New York. Like, this is why.
that was like, when you hear about like right place, right time, that is the story. Like,
yeah, girl.
That is it. But I wanted to ask you, with such a shift, I mean, it was just like a moment for you. Do you feel like you were prepared for such a shift in the way that it did at that age? Because I think a lot of times the idea of wanting something is so exciting and so great, and it sounds great. But a lot of times we don't realize we're not prepared for something until it's kind of too late and we're in it and it's like go time.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that for you? Do you feel like you were prepared?
I actually do feel like I was prepared for what the way I entered the industry and like the way everything unraveled. Now I don't think every 17-year-old is prepared by any means. Like, definitely not. The only reason why I say that is because, I started like traveling and spending summers away from home at dorms, having roommates and like having to be very independent at like 12, 13, 14. Every summer I was going to a different intensive and living alone, So I do feel like that was like part of my preparation. I didn't go to college, but that was like my college experience, and then I went on tour and I'm like, oh, instead of dorms, we're in tour buses. Same thing, like super similar. So it definitely was like a huge 180 that my life did. Like, whoa, what is going on? But I was prepared because I had like all of the dance background training. I won competitions. I was ready, girl. I was like in it. So when they threw me in, I'm like, what do you need? What do you want? How fast? How many times? Yeah, let's go.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I love that because you just never know when your time is going to be. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're in your small beginning, you can get discouraged because you're like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, or I see things happening for other people, but it can really change in the blink of an eye. So having that preparation, I think, is so needed, even when you don't think it's preparation. Like for you, like you said, you were 12 years old going to these camps and these, competitions, but it's like you were getting prepared, and I'm sure your parents could see that for you.
Yeah, that's why they moved me to New York. They're like, we already see this. Like, yep.
It's nice to have like parents or a support system to see the bigger picture, especially when you're in your humble beginning, or you're just doing the steps, because the process, I mean, you need it. You have to have
it's necessary. It is necessary, and it's a blessing to have those people who see the light in you, like before you even know you have it.
No, for sure. So you mentioned a little bit earlier, but you have been on shows like Glee, Hit the Floor, X Factor. I want to talk about what the difference between a set for acting and then being on an all-day dance rehearsal or preparing for a tour. I'm sure there's a difference, but I'm sure it's like transferable skills and transferable, feelings. So how is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference. There actually is a very big difference. When you're working for an artist, you're working for an independent person, and their company or their label or whatever, it's like whatever they want to do, you're just on their terms and their rules. When you're on TV shows, there's usually everything on TV is through SAG, the union, SAG-AFTRA. And so because of the union, there are rules, there's restrictions, you can't work past this without getting paid this. And if you get this, then you get double with that. And, after you have been on TVs for so long, like a Denzel Washington, his residuals and stuff are just like insane because it just adds up and accumulates. So yeah, television, you have this union and this protection kind of, and like residuals and stuff that always are coming in. Artists, you're an independent contractor working under an independent contractor,
Right.
And so, yeah, artist days, like a lot of days, work days can be much longer because it's just however long they want to work or work us. And then union and TV is usually like an 8-hour, 12-hour day, depending on a shoot, and then like also because of TV and stuff, like you're always playing like a specific role, it's not necessarily you being yourself like you would be with an artist where you get to be like dancer Ashley, if I'm on X Factor, I'm having to do a certain routine with this certain individual who's singing this song and it needs to be, have a theme and stuff. Or like I dance on The Masked Singer. I've been on The Masked Singer since not 2003, since season 3. And we're about to shoot season 9. And we're like, you wouldn't even know I'm in it because I'm in a mask, girl. So I'm like definitely not being myself, I'm like being whatever the character is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So there's also that difference, but it's so fun to do it all. It's like keeps the creative energies just going.
Sure. And I imagine there are times where you're like, okay, it's been 18 hours. I haven't had a snack. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go.
Girl. Absolutely. A bed, a nap, my mama, like, yeah.
Sure. That stuff is real because it sounds really exciting and invigorating for if you haven't been in it yet, I would say, or when you're like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But when you've been doing it for, let's say, a few years, I imagine you start to get a little tired.
Yeah, girl, absolutely. And hey, how do we work smarter and not harder? Because
right.
Yeah, That's
How
always the end goal.
how do you manage the work-life balance, especially when it's not a 9 to 5 work-life balance? It's a 18-hour, or I'm in this country one day and another the next. Like, how do you manage
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I mean, girl, it's a daily practice. It's a constant practice. And especially for someone like me, one minute I am on like a 9 to 5 schedule shooting this TV show for a month. And then the next minute I'm working with an artist doing music videos and about to go on tour or something. And it's like, whoa. So it's literally like, it's literally a constant practice of trying to find the balance. Like, yeah, I'm always trying to find the balance. I need days for myself. I need days at home with my man and my dogs. I need to go to the gym and release, frustrations. Like doing stuff for myself has been like the balance that I've realized I need, because it's just giving myself self-love where I can then show up better to the job or the opportunity or whatever it is that calls.
I
But
imagine
it's a daily thing, girl. It's a daily reminder, practice, all that.
for sure. I imagine that you have found a way to stay anchored, but still adaptable.
Yeah.
Like able to adapt to the different circumstances and out whatever that be, like hours, environments, but like still being able to maintain you and maintain, okay, I know that no matter where I go or wherever I step foot into, I'm gonna be Ashley and I'm gonna remain that.
Yeah.
And I think having that is so important, especially when you're trying to remain in the industry. Like you can get in, right? But
but staying in
staying in
is a
is,
different story.
yeah, for sure. Can you tell me more about your life when you're touring with an artist? I think we touched on it a little bit with the time zones and all of that, but can you talk to me a little bit more about what that's like?
Yeah. I mean, well, you live out of suitcases for however long the tour is, a year usually. Living out of suitcases, on planes, frequent flyer miles go all the way up, planes all the time, tour buses, when in the United States and Europe usually are where you like do the tour buses, because those are drivable places. And then once you start going to other countries, you got to fly and do all that. And yeah, girl. So like a typical day, you get up, if it's a show day, you're getting up, you're like, okay, if you have a few hours to spare and you're in an exciting city, maybe you want to, lose out on a little bit of rest and go explore, because balance, right? Like you got to find it somewhere. So either you rest or you explore, you see the city, whatever you want to do. And then we check out usually in the afternoon sometime, put all our stuff on the bus and take our like day bag with us to the venue.
Okay.
If rehearsal is required before a show, rehearse, practice, sound check, do whatever you need. Shows happening at 9, so we're already into like a long day already, right? Like long day already. Shows at the nighttime. You usually aren't getting off stage until like 11, maybe midnight,
Okay.
You go in the locker room, shower like a basketball team, like it's very family style. Like, yeah, you get to know everyone like real close. That's why it really is like a family. The people become like your best friends, sisters, brothers, Shower, eat some snacks in the dressing room, whatever, and put on your nighttime stuff to get on that bus and drive to the next city. And the drive can be anything from 30 minutes to 30 hours, like we've been on tour buses for like days.
Wow. Wow. You performed a lot of places, but is there one place that's like most memorable for the energy that you felt?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, there's some bomb crowds out there. Bomb ones. I do, no shade to the US, but I do have to give it up, because overseas they be going, girl. Like we be like too concerned about what people think over here,
Okay.
like Europe and stuff, they are going. Brazil, insane.
Okay.
Yeah, Africa even, like, yeah.
Mhm.
There, yeah, there's amazing crowds. I don't even want to be biased and be like, my favorite is Paris. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No,
no,
I'm
there's so many good places.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that you say that because I've always thought that when I watch concerts and I see the crowd and I'm like, wow, they don't care if they have to wait all day. It's hot
No, yeah,
outside.
they
They
be
are going to
asleep
give
days
it.
before, camping out. Like, yeah,
Yes.
committed.
For sure.
Yeah.
You have seen a lot, and I'm sure there have been moments where not only you're physically tired, but maybe even mentally tired. I know in the industry, there's a lot of auditioning and maybe waiting, or there's something that you really want or an accomplishment that you're really trying to get to, and maybe it hasn't come yet or hasn't happened for you yet. Have you ever felt the pressure of that in terms of like maybe wanting to quit or maybe feeling like this isn't what you want anymore?
Yeah, this industry in general can make people feel like that because there's
Mhm.
so many no's,
Yeah,
like all the time. I'm sure you've gotten them too. Like, oh,
yeah.
we're looking for a girl. Well, not you. Okay, but someone else. We want like, and it's like,
Like,
damn, like,
who
come
you need
on.
me to be today?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so
Yeah,
real. So
yeah.
the industry can definitely make you feel like that. So yes, of course, like naturally, I've definitely felt like that. But
Mhm.
one thing that I tell anyone in the industry this, but I always tell dancers this, especially, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Because
Mhm.
anytime one of those doors closes in your face or makes you feel like, I don't want to do it anymore. What am I fighting for? Why am I doing this? Because they keep shutting me out or whatever. You have other avenues to go to and explore there. And then you'll come back and those doors are going to open back up, like, but not having all your eggs in one, like, for example, one dance basket where
Mhm.
you're only trying to go on a tour or you're auditioning and trying to book a TV show, but maybe you're really great at makeup too, and you need to like explore a little bit of makeup things as well, and just like try other things and do other things, because
Mhm.
yeah, this industry will chew you up and spit you out real quick, So what's kept me, I think, from falling into like that sunken place of like being
Mhm.
like, fuck this, like I don't even want to, because we've all felt like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, what kept me from that is my other passions and projects,
Mm.
you know.
Mhm. And outside of dance, do you have any hobbies or anything that help you remain like centered and balanced with it all?
Yeah. Well, fitness has been a huge thing in my life for the last few years now. My boyfriend's a personal trainer, so I have a live-in personal trainer.
There you go.
But I even like throughout the pandemic, I created one of my own like fitness kind of dance inspired programs that I have available online.
Oh,
It's on
awesome.
an app called NeoU, if you ever feel like looking it up.
Okay. Yes.
So
Thank you for
yeah, so
that.
fitness has been like a huge asset in my life, and it's also just like I encourage it to everyone. I just think it
Yeah.
just makes you a better human being. We make better choices. You look better, you feel better, like all the things. It just brings good things to you. It doesn't bring any bad,
Mhm.
unless you get injured or something. But
Mhm.
so fitness, I also started a CBD brand throughout the pandemic, another passion project,
Awesome.
with my boyfriend as well. It's all geared and focused on recovery and relief and yeah, just like not fixing, but like helping the muscles and the pains and the aches without getting high from like THC in the process. But it's basically the exact same effects that you would get from a THC. So we have great customers who love it, and they always like supported us throughout the entire pandemic. But since I'm on that topic, we are doing like a relaunch. So
Oh,
you'll be
awesome.
seeing some new stuff soon, which is
Yes.
exciting. Yeah, I mean, girl, just keeping like a healthy circle around you too that just like
Yeah.
keeps you like centered and
Hmm.
humble, but also like inspired. Like that's been a huge thing too, just since I've been 30, just reevaluating who the people are around me and you
Yeah.
know, am I being inspired and is it beneficial? It needs to be mutually beneficial on all ends.
Yeah. 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 That is something am I'm at the tail end of that.
Mhm.
I this year, or gosh, it's 2023. 2022.
Crazy.
It'll take me a couple weeks to get there. 2022 was that year for me, is recognizing that like just because somebody isn't for your path doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't take away that friendship that you had with them during that season or during that time. But I
Mhm.
think a part of you growing as a person is realizing, wow, like this, like you just said, this has to go both ways and not just, oh, hey, girl, you didn't call me back or something. It's not even
Yep.
that. It's just like,
Yep. Or hey, can you do this for me? And then it's like, well, what'd you do for me?
right. Exactly. It's like
Mhm.
the emotional labor. Who is doing the most emotional labor here? I think it's more important to find that for yourself before your career personally or professionally starts elevating,
Yeah.
because I feel like it might be a lot harder, and you tell me, to find that community or even feel that community once like things have shifted.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely think it would be smart and wise to find it before. I can't necessarily say I did. I
Yeah.
was so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just, as you get older and grow, like when I came in the industry, I wish I knew some of the
Mm.
things that I know now,
Mhm.
obviously. But
Mhm.
my experiences had to teach me and I had to learn,
Mm.
for myself.
Mhm.
So yeah, we've self-taught a lot.
But I feel like it's needed.
It is, girl, it is.
Things you don't learn unless you actually go through it.
Go through it. That's it.
So, with that being said, what would you tell your younger self now that you've seen what you've needed to see and heard what you needed to hear?
I know, right? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'd be like, just shoot for the stars and then beyond.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna reach those goals and you're gonna need more and bigger
yeah.
ones and higher and like never stop dreaming because
Mm,
it's all achievable.
yeah.
2022 for me was my year of manifestations. I
Mm,
literally was like, I hadn't traveled since COVID and all that. And I was like, I think I'm ready to like start going back overseas. And
mhm.
like, I manifested it. And I was like, I don't want to have to pay for it, and manifested it, and like, it
Yes.
was the year of manifestations. I'm like, I want to travel exotic. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to work. I want this. I want this to be easy. It was
Yeah,
manifesting, girl. So now, like, as you get older, you understand the power of the mind, the power
yeah.
of what you speak, even like what you
Right.
say, who you're around, all of it is playing its role.
I love that because it speaks on our language. I think with what we say and even what we believe, like what we believe behind the words we say. I think it's easy to say something, but your heart knows and your body knows when you don't actually
If you
believe
don't
it.
mean it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, I'm so confident. But it's like your body's like, girl, no, you're not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You fronting.
Do you feel like that's the key to the manifestation piece? Like actually seeing it is like you have to believe it for
You
yourself?
have to believe it. You
Yeah.
literally have to believe you are the greatest thing in the world. And then everybody else will believe that you're the greatest thing in the world too. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about what you're selling, it's about the salesman.
Yeah.
Even dance. Dance is not about the moves, it's about who's doing the moves and how they're doing it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's all about that. So Yeah.
I'm sure you have a busy year ahead, girl.
You
Where
know?
you're like, just a little bit. Where can we see you next? Like, what are you working on that you can share?
Yeah, that I can share. I can definitely share that I have some TV shows coming out that I even started last year, and are rolling into this year.
Mhm.
I mentioned The Masked Singer, and so I
Awesome.
Masked Singer season 8 just finished, and I'm about to shoot season 9, and that'll air in a few months, I'm assuming.
Okay.
And then I'm also a part of a show called Good Trouble. It's on season 5,
Okay.
and so you can catch me in there,
Okay.
in a few
Where can we
episodes
watch that?
actually, which is nice. And yeah, stay tuned. I feel like we should probably have like another one of these in a few months.
Yes, yes, please do.
Like
Just
another
where can people follow and support you?
Instagram and all social media handles really is Ashley Everett. And then also for my CBD brand that I mentioned, we're like revamping and we're going to be relaunching, but we still have stuff available for sale right now. It's
Awesome.
Cachet Brands, CACHET Brands. And is that it? Yeah, I think that's it.
I'll make sure to link all of it below. But Ashley, this is amazing. I'm so glad you joined me. Like you said,
Thank
you
you,
gotta
girl.
come back.
Yeah, we got to do this again. We need part 2, part 3, maybe every like couple months.
Just kind of like a monthly check-in, a quarterly check-in.
The sisterly check-in, okay?
Thank you so much. This was
Thank
amazing.
you, London.
I appreciate you for sharing everything that you shared today. I know it's gonna encourage somebody, motivate somebody, and I
So,
know it did for me.
thanks, girl. I hope so. Then my job is done.
Yes. Well, I will see you next time, and I appreciate you
Yes,
staying
of course.
around with me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Talk Life. Make sure you follow and support Ashley's journey. I will link all of her social media channels below. Until next time.